Well, it looks like, finally some justice is going to be coming to these cult groups within the black community. Finally. Afrika Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation sued for child sex trafficking. Child Victims Act lawsuit filed against hip-hop pioneer and Zulu Nation organization. Bronx, New York, Afrika Bambaataa was recently served his copy of a lawsuit filed against him and the Zulu Nation, claiming the disgraced hip-hop pioneer sexually abused and repeatedly sex trafficked a 12-year-old boy to other deviant adult males in exchange for money for 4 years. Child sex trafficking, by definition, refers to the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a minor for the purpose of a commercial sex act. Oh man, this crap is sick. It's just plain sick. Damn. We are first to report on the suit that was filed in Bronx Supreme Court that says one location that the child sexual abuse and child prostitution took place was in Bambaataa's Bronx River apartment, which doubled as the Zulu Nation headquarters at 1609 East 174th Street. Bambaataa shared his apartment with Billy Ahmed Henderson, yet not named in the suit. John Doe's lawyer filed the lawsuit on August 4th, 2021, 10 days before the August 14th deadline of the Child Victims Act, CVA. John Doe in John Doe versus Lance Taylor is represented by Tanner and Ortega, and attorney Hugo Ortega explains the nature of the action. The SVA opened a historic 1-year, one-time window for victims and survivors of childhood sexual abuse in the state of New York to pursue lapse claims. Prior to the passage of the CVA, each plaintiff's claims were time-barred the day they turned 22 years old. In 2016, Troy Star Torrent had an interview with a Zulu Nation member who said he was sexually abused by Afrika Bambaataa and other Zulu Nation members while in the 9th grade. This began a litany of allegations on Turo's show against Bambaataa as more and more alleged victims came forward. John Doe was not one of those men. The writer also interviewed alleged victims of Afrika Bambaataa and members of the Zulu Nation for a documentary. These interviews are currently airing on YouTube. John Doe is not one of those men. According to several alleged victims, Afrika Bambaataa considered himself an intergalactic being who had to protect himself from wicked forces. He put tape over his VCR and Betamax to prevent Big Brother from spying on him and believed all cell phones were tapped. A new world order would soon be here, and Bambaataa believed he gained superpowers by swallowing this. Oh my God. See, this is why you don't trust nobody in the black conscious community. Majority of these people come from screwed up backgrounds in the African American community. Okay. It's the blind leading the blind. Some of these people were molested in childhood. Some of these people went to jail and got sexually assaulted repeatedly. The black conscious community is a joke, and it's full of predators, psychopaths, and deviants. But they cover it up on this nonsense called stay on code. You know, when you have these predators in your communities. And they uplift this man in the black community. Not all of them, but, the hood, dingy, grungy, ghetto people, they look up to these types of creeps. His song, Planet Rock, perfectly emulated his world, aliens, hip-hop, and rock, sex. His apartment was a mix of an office and an LSD trip. On the walls were images of spaceships, vinyl records strewn all over the floor, and photo albums of naked male Zulu Nation members and naked New York DJs were always in close reach. Gay and heterosexual porn played often on his floor model television. So the man's a drug addict and is bisexual. And he's a sexual deviant and a child predator. Bambaataa developed his technique to captivate followers with rhythm, intonation, buzzwords, and thought-stopping phrases. He studied the cadence of the Nation of Islam ministers and immersed himself in the teachings of Malachi York. Did Malachi York, who had a whole compound, who has 200 kids, who raped young women and kids, that Malachi York, who's doing a life sentence, and his son is doing time for, one of his sons is doing time for abusing a 5-year-old boy, burning his hands and putting him in a closet. He used what he learned from other thought leaders to entrance Bronx youth. Yeah. This guy's a sick fuck. Soon, these kids that were dancing in the streets and becoming petty criminals started attending his classes. It wouldn't be long before they began using terms like king, queen, anarchy, and malaki. Yeah. After Bambaataa became an international celebrity, the youth credited their knowledge of self and all they would become to African Bambaataa. If the long-standing allegations against African Bambaataa and Zulu Nation were a single course in prosody, and then everybody loves Bam would be the refrain. The new members of the group projected a new image and sincerity, but Bambaataa surrounded himself with hardened criminals, and the Zulu Nation never fully abandoned illegal and street activities. It can now add child sex trafficking to the list of allegations. They're scumbags, all right? Most of these people, it's like, these preachers who get these storefront churches and they come out of prison and they can't get a job because of the felonies. So they go to becoming a pastor and conning poor black people to get what they want. Okay, most of these poor black people are ignorant. Okay, they don't want to learn. They don't want to learn right from wrong, and they may have been in a poor position due to bad choices, and they haven't learned from the position they put themselves in. So they always blame the white man this, the white man this, the white man that. And they have no conscience, no rhyme or reason, utterly dumb, and they look to people like this because these people like this will always make them feel sorry for themselves and never challenge them to do better. This is why you got predators in black churches. Okay, we got them in white churches too. Shut up! I'm not talking about that. I'm focusing on, yes, they're in those type in every church, but I'm talking about the black community and the scumbags that are in it. So, according to the lawsuit, John Doe met Bambaataa in 1991 at 12. He began attending meetings at the Bronx River Community Center. Bambaataa took a liking to him, and John Doe joined the Zulu Nation and eventually became a part of his security force. After reaching global status as a celebrity, Bambaataa never left Bronx Riverside houses. He and Ahmed Henderson set up the Zulu Nation headquarters office, and apparently they shared a 1609 East 174th Street apartment. 8K. Henderson's Nubian Productions was also operating out of this apartment. It was in this apartment where Bambaataa began inviting 12-year-old John Doe to work out in his gym. Why would you invite a 12-year-old to work out in your gym? Why? The suit alleges Bambaataa began grooming the adolescent by complimenting the 12-year-old on his muscular body. Ew. He began inappropriately touching the boy's shoulders, biceps, and abdomen. Eventually, this led to Bambaataa increasing his abuse by touching the child's private area. The claim describes how stage after stage, moment after moment, visit after visit, Bambaataa methodically, patiently, and expertly groomed the preteen into acceptance of his illegal conduct and illicit behavior. According to the suit, Bambaataa began exposing the child to pornography videos while encouraging him to masturbate. According to the lawsuit, Bambaataa himself freely masturbated in front of the 12-year-old boy and continued his sexual assault by committing full rape by sodomy on the minor child. The suit also alleges that while parading himself as a pillar in the community and the leader of a righteous organization, Bambaataa's degradation and humiliation of this young boy knew no bounds. To the alleges, Bambaataa had no regard for human life because he transported and supplied this young boy to other deviant, depraved males for cash. According to the Department of Justice, this is the definition of child sex trafficking. The lawsuit says Bambaataa even took John Doe to other locations where he watched other adult men sodomize this child for money. The founder, leader, and owner of the Zulu Nation was allegedly heavily involved in a child sex trafficking ring, which was used Zulu Nation's headquarters at 1609 East 174th Street as one of their locations. An apartment that was buzzing with people and activity 24 hours a day, but no one saw anything. Somebody had to know what was going on. According to the lawsuit, Bambaataa prosecuted the child for over 4 years. 5 causes of action in the John Doe versus Lance Taylor lawsuit. I hope he gets the book thrown at him. I hope he gets the book thrown at him. And anybody, any black man or woman defending African Bambaataa is shamed into oblivion. 1. Assault. Lance Taylor's intentional sexual assault of John Doe was for his own sexual gratification without regard for John Doe's well-being, resulted in the apprehension of harm, unwanted physical contact, and without consent. Minors cannot consent. 2. Civil battery. Lance Taylor committed battery by intentionally trafficking John Doe to other adult men who sexually assaulted him in the presence of Lance Taylor. 3. Intention infliction of emotional distress. Engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct when he transported the minor to the locations where adult men sexually assaulted him in the presence of Lance Taylor for the sole purpose of offering John Doe to perform sex acts in exchange for money and for his own sexual gratification. As a result, John Doe has suffered and sustained severe mental anguish and depression. Such conduct exceeds what is tolerated in civilized society and has gone beyond all reasonable bounds of decency, thereby indicating Lance Taylor's utter disregard for the consequences of his actions. Lance Taylor knew that his extreme and outrageous conduct would give multiple adult men the ability to sexually assault the minor, which would inflict severe emotional and psychological distress. 4. Negligent infliction of emotional distress. Lance Taylor breached his duty to exercise reasonable care when he escorted the minor to the apartments belonging to adult men for the sole purpose of offering him to perform sex acts in exchange for money. It is foreseeable that sex trafficking and individual, especially a minor, would result in the infliction of severe emotional and psychological distress. 5. Gross negligence. Evince extreme indifference to John Doe's health, safety, and rights by breaching his duty to exercise reasonable care when he transferred the minor plaintiff to the apartments belonging to adult men for the sole purpose of offering the plaintiff to perform sex acts in exchange for money. I hope he get that. And it's sickening that you have black people defending Brother Polite. It's sickening you have black people defending Malachi York. It is sickening you defend these creeps. And you wonder why the black community is not going to go anywhere, because you defend people that you like. Never mind. I've said this before. If you got a talent, if you could sing, if you could rap, it doesn't matter what you do. The black community will always protect you because you could make them feel good. Or you have a face that, you know, they like. Never mind the destroying the community and the children who are the future of any community. Never mind that. Never mind that. But the ones that actually do right by you and won't harm your kids are those blacks you despise because they tell you have to do better in life. Known aliases of Lance Taylor: African Bambaataa, Africa Bambaataa Asim, Kevin Donovan, Asim Bambaataa Bey, Bambaataa Kayen Asim, Chief Dragonfly. This man needs to be locked up in jail, and whatever happens to him, happens to him. He deserves whatever he's going to get in jail. Child trafficking is a federal offense with no statute of limitation, and the Child Exploitation and Obscenity section, CEOs, of the Department of Justice needs to launch a full investigation of Lance Taylor, aka African Bambaataa, and the Zulu Nation. John Doe's lawsuit says he has sustained physical injury, severe emotional distress, psychological distress, and depression. Because of Bambaataa's conduct, he has suffered anguish, embarrassment, and was prevented from obtaining a full enjoyment of life. Yeah. Other allegations, victims of Bambaataa say that they have severely explicit, that he had several explicit photos, albums of naked children, teens, and adults in sexually exploitive poses. The writer has learned that Bambaataa is also a pack rat, and based on his collection at Cornell University, rarely parts with any memorabilia. Okay, good. So now the prosecution has evidence to bury him in court. He is in fact a pedophile. The science shows that they keep trophies, and these books are most likely somewhere law enforcement could find if they could only investigate the allegations of these Black and Latino survivors. Oh, man. Sad to say, you will have Black women and Black men defend this scumbag. It is difficult to get people from the Bronx River to speak on the record about African Bambaataa's early days, but the story goes like this. Lance Taylor grew up in Bronx River housing with a single mother who gives a shit, an older brother. Miss Taylor worked long hours as a nurse, and his older brother was killed. Lance became a young Spade, and after his division leader, Cool DJ D, became the first Black Spade to start DJing, the Spades eventually fizzled out. In 1971, there had been a peace treaty at the Hoe Avenue Peace meeting, and Cool DJ D started doing more music and less gang activity. Lance was his treasurer, and then filled in as war counselor after the previous warlord quit. If a conflict with another gang was brewing, they would commission Lance to get the information and bring it back to the leadership. After Cool DJ D and other Black Spades started doing music and other endeavors, the gang dissipated. Lance started the organization, and many former Spades came along with him. The group went through several name iterations as it started incorporating more and more areas of the Bronx. What started as the organization became the Bronx River Organization. And finally, the Bronx River Organization, Bambaataa, would recruit young males by visiting their schoolyards, basketball courts, and other places young boys hang out. In August 1973, Kool Herc would spin at his sister's party and extend the break of a song with two turntables, and hip-hop was officially born. It was not called hip-hop, but the genre and surrounding break-dancing culture took hold. By now, Lance Taylor took on the name African Bambaataa and tried his hand at DJing. He used his mother's extensive record collection, borrowed some equipment, and threw his first party. Grand Mixer DST taught him how to spin on the beat, and Disco King Mario lent him the equipment. By the 70s, Bambaataa changed the name of the Bronx organization to Zulu Nation and focused the group on hip-hop and parties. His longtime bodyguard, Lord Sharif, estimates this last name change took place in 1975 or 1976, while Bambaataa claims the hip-hop awareness group Zulu Nation started in 1973. Former international spokesman of the Zulu Nation, T.C. Islam, took issue with this claim and also said the Zulu Nation was banging until 1996. He also said the Zulu Nation extorted, killed, and did all kinds of ish to get in the industry. Wow. It is not clear if hip-hop journalists, authors, historians, and documentarians have investigated this claim of November 1973 being the start of the Zulu Nation. The United States Senate has even declared November as Hip-Hop History Month based on this assertion. Lance Taylor, a.k.a. African Bambaataa, must answer the court summons within 30 days of being served. They finally got Bambaataa. I hope they find enough evidence in the books. I do too. It's shit. This crap is sickening, man. It is just so sickening. All right. the crap that he's in jail because he abused one of his sons. One of his sons is in jail for abusing a 5-year-old boy. Looked up the information myself. Okay, moving on. See that Zulu Nation responds to child sex trafficking report. Yesterday, the Metropolis was the first to report the child sex trafficking lawsuit filed against Afrika Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation. John Doe versus Lance Taylor and the Zulu Nation is pursuant of the Child Victims Act, which grants adult survivors of child sexual abuse an opportunity to seek justice. Today, Zulu Nation released the statement below in response. This guy's a piece of shit. Official UNG's World Department of Community Affairs statement on the Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, media reported legal action against Afrika Bambaataa and members of the Universal Zulu Nation. The overall mission, purpose, goals, and objectives of the Universal Zulu Nation World Department of Community Affairs is to use social conscious grassroots hip-hop culture as a revolutionary tool for global humanism, inner over understanding, liberal self-determination, peace, health, and the physical and spiritual oneness with Mother Earth. Yeah, you're speaking a whole lot of gobbledygook, a whole lot of bullshit. Nothing has changed since 2016, when these decades ago accusations first surfaced. This is a personal matter for Afrika Bambaataa and his lawyers to deal with, and has absolutely nothing to do with the 10-year-long UNZ DACA mission programs and projects which continue in the revolutionary legacy of both the Black Panther Party and the Young Lords Party to serve the people, body, and soul. Yeah, right. If anyone is truly interested in all of the positive work that, you're not really going to answer to these accusations. You're not going to say anything. Like, you don't have nothing to do with it at all. You just... It's kind of like the Catholic Church, you know? When you mentioned about the fact that the Catholic Church has been sexually abusing boys and taking money from families and taking money from families and having nuns suffer horrible abuses. Focus on the good that we have done. That's what they talk about. Oh, God. Never exposing the perverts within their ranks and kicking them out. Nah. Just want to order people to focus on the good that we have done. This is why, cults like this black cult, Afrika Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, this is the poison that's going to hold the Black community back. Okay? This is the poison. And sad to say, they have plenty of people to manipulate because a lot of people within the Black community don't want to hear the truth. They think you're judging and bashing them. You're an agent of the white man, and these dummies will follow suit. If anyone is truly interested in all the positive work that the UNG's DACA does, then we will be more happy to address any of our below community survival programs. Free food, free the land, farms, and urban gardens project, martial arts and self-defense. Yeah. Imagine those predators, how they beat up people and try to rape people. Martial arts and self-defense project, emergency preparedness project, health, healing and health projects, anti-police terror and community control over the police campaign, children's rights of passage program. God, that is so cringe. Prisoner advocacy and free all political prisoners projects. Yeah. You mean actual political prisoners, or, people committed crimes and you just want to get back onto the streets because they are Black. Black, Brown, and Asian Solidarity Project, International Hip Hop for Humanity Tour, the Young Fathers Support Circle, Youth Sports, Black Panther Party, Legacy Political Education Classes, Housing, and Legal First Aid. But we will neither make nor provide any further comments or responses regarding the aforementioned legal matter. Yeah, you guys are scum. Yep. I really hope that this piece of crap goes to jail and he's put in general population. Anybody that was helping and abating this man, anybody, that was helping African Bambaataa do what he did, they go to jail too. I hope it's like R. Kelly. One after another, more witnesses, more victims come up. Not a damn plea deal, not one plea deal. Not one. All of them go to jail. All of them doing life in prison. Every last one. Because they are hurting the black youth. They're hurting children. And this is wrong. Unfortunately, you'll have some fools within the black community and within black YouTube that will still try to defend these scumbags. Probably have an argument with me or anybody else who's actually knows what's going on. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. These sickos have been doing this for years, decades. Dr. York's son is in prison. He's in jail, prison, because he abused a 5-year-old boy, one of his sons. Baby mother is also in jail too. This story was so sickening to read. So sickening to read. Anytime you have these black so-called leaders talking about peace king, peace God, and into Egyptology, stay away from them. Stay the hell away from them. They're into some sort of weird, sick crap, which usually involves perverted sex. Okay? Talking about crap about... I remember watching a video talking about, Brother Polite, and he was at this function, and there was this man talking there about having sex with a woman without touching her. Of all the things that go on in the black community, that is plaguing the black community, you want to talk about that. You already know they're perverts and creeps. Already know. Sad to say, sometimes within even the black manosphere, you will have people sticking up for these creeps. Sad to say. Because you got pimps in the manosphere too. Like Freeze. He got arrested. This is crazy. And, as much as people, you want to get mad when people call out this nonsense, because this is hurting the black community. People have the audacity to get mad, and they're black. Women get mad. You always gotta wonder, do you have kids? Do you have kids? For any woman to defend a man like this, I know you're basically, you're from the ghetto. You're from the gutter. You're completely stupid. That's it. Just like so you have women defending Brother Polite, women defending R. Kelly. I saw an old woman, pink hair, defending R. Kelly. I already know this woman completely is a fool. I bet she doesn't even watch the trials. R. Kelly said he had a young man that he was grooming since he was young. Calls him nephew. Forced women to have sex with nephew. Straight up horror movie, Hills Have Eyes type of shit. And it's sad that with all this evidence coming out and these books that with the pictures of all the pictures of all these underage kids that African Bambaataa probably been sleeping with or have, you're still going to have black people defending this scumbag. Old black and young black fools. That's all I got to say. I'm really disgusted about this. Really am. All right. I'm done. Like, share, comment, and subscribe.